Taco, 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 taco tribe. Come see what Taco Tribe can do.
Hello, 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 everyone. How are y'all today? Let me get some people up here.
Hello, Taco.
Hello, hello.
How's it going?
I'm good, I'm good. How are you?
Good, good, good. Just sharing the space with everyone.
Hey guys, happy Taco Tuesday.
Happy Taco Tuesday, everyone.
Yo, what up? Happy Taco Tuesday. Drip, drip.
Yo, what up, Drip?
Dripping, being a clown as usual.
Hell yeah, I feel you, man. We're going to do a few things today. The first thing I want to do is actually have Drip talk about what's going on with the whole OpenSea thing, just so we can all get a better idea of what's happening with that. Then we're going to go and get a little layout of the Chompies NFT project, and then we're going to be getting into some big things that we're going to be doing here at the Taco HQ. So it's going to be pretty exciting today. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of huge things coming. So I'm very excited for the space today. What's up, Nico?
Hey, happy Taco Tuesday, everybody. How we doing?
Hello, sir. How are you, man? Happy Taco Tuesday.
I'm good. I had my Greek taco. I have my beer now. I'm fine.
Hell yeah. There was talks about maybe doing the space at 3 o'clock from now on. We'll see about that. I know it's pretty late for some of you guys out there, and I definitely want to accommodate for everybody. So instead of people staying up till 1 a.m., maybe you can stay up till midnight. Maybe work it out for you. We'll see. It might be a little bit better for me too, because I always have work at midnight on Tuesdays. So I usually have to do all the events and go to bed and get like 3 hours of sleep and then go to work for 8 hours. So we'll see. We might start doing it at 3, but that's neither here nor there. I hope everybody's having a great day. We got a lot of familiar faces in here. We got a lot of new faces. I like to see all the chompies in there. I see we got some frogs. We got some tacos up in here. Coin is up in here. What's up, Coin? Caden, what's up, Caden? Appreciate you guys coming and hanging out. We got some experts up in here. Bri, I'm looking at you. And it's going to be a good space. So if you want to start it off, Dip, if you are ready, there have been some major changes and memes and stuff going on with OpenSea that me personally I don't fully understand. And I think Dip's got a better grasp on it than I do. If anybody else has any clue what I'm talking about and understand it, please come up and speak and request to speak as well. But Drip, are you there?
Yeah, man, I'm here. Sorry, my phone was on. I didn't realize my phone was on mute.
No, that's cool, man. Yeah, so I mean, you got an idea of what's like going on with this whole there's a bunch of Blur OpenSea memes going on. Something about an OpenSea token. I don't know. Explain it to us.
Basically, the short and long of it is they just announced some stuff where they're basically giving everybody the chance to kill royalties for collections, right? So like, we heard about this a while ago, 0% royalties, and then it was on Solana, and then it came over to ETH, and that's kind of what a lot of the argument is on the OpenSea side right now that people are getting upset about. The whole thing between Blur and OpenSea is that Blur dropped the token, and when they dropped the token, there was a bunch of wash trading, I guess, that was happening, and people were just making money on Blur, and I guess a lot of the volume was just wash trading, so it was kind of like, not as true to as it says it was supposed to be. But so I just, like thinking about this long term, like to keep this kind of short because I do kind of rant sometimes. Thinking about this long term, like looking at it doesn't make any sense to me, right? So like, if we're gonna kill royalties, then there's no money coming in for royalties for collections or artists. If you're going to say that like an artist or a collection or a project, sometimes when they drop more tokens, then it becomes the argument is it's oversaturated and then it kills the floor, right? Well, all right, so that's two things that you can't do. Everyone's complaining all the time that merch sucks and there's nothing new. But so literally, you've killed every single which way for a company or an organization or a project or whatever you want to call it to bring any kind of capital in to keep it going. But people still expect to buy stuff in 10x. Like that just doesn't logically make any sense. And that to me seems like it could kill the ecosystem fairly quickly if that's going to happen, because then who's going to come in to want to create new things? Like what new creators are going to want to come in those standards or those conditions, that those kind of market conditions? It's just there's no logic there. You're up against a brick wall, no matter how good or smart or how many talents you have or how many connections you have or how big your team is or how deep seated your team is with real world businesses. Like those kinds of standards are going to kill the space. And it's a mindset. It's not like, it's a mindset. It doesn't have to be that way. And really, with any other companies, like if you're selling like on Web 2, you get like you get like a warning before this happens so you can prepare for it, right? And there was really no warning with anything. It was just kind of like, bam, here you go. So I think from artist point of view, I've heard a lot of people that are really upset about it. I've heard a lot of artists that say it's not going to affect them and they don't care. But really, you have to think about the long term. You can't think about the short term with these things, because what's it going to be like in 5 years? How's it going to go? Is everyone going to migrate to a new chain because this kind of stuff is happening? Or is everyone going to migrate to something else? Is there going to be something completely different because of this? And
Well, the whole like royalty thing, the argument of zero royalties makes absolute no sense to me, because when I first started over a year ago, the whole premise was that artists can make money on their art after they sell it. So like, right, before, if you sell a piece of digital art um, for $100 and that person goes and sells it for 1,000, you made $100 and they made $900. So I don't understand the whole premise of no royalties. Honestly, I just think it's like collectors wanting to get an extra penny on their sale. Like they don't want to give up an extra $2.50 to give to the artist. It really doesn't make any sense.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, that on top of the fact that with certain, it depends on the collector, right? And like who's buying and who's purchasing. Is it a flipper? Is it someone who's trying to just like turn something quick, or is it someone who's holding it and purchasing it because they like what they're buying? But regardless, it doesn't matter either way. You're not going to have a conventional ecosystem that's going to strive and live on that model. They're all going to crash and burn. It's going to happen. It's just that's why I made the blockchain buster meme that's dropping in 8 minutes. It's kind of a warning. Like, guys, you're going down the wrong path here, and everybody can see it. You keep going against the grain with all this stuff. Companies like Blur are popping out and trying to do things in a different way. But there's one way to. I'm not stupid enough to tell you guys, or not tell you guys, but whoever's going to listen in the past, present, or future on the recording, I'm not stupid enough to tell everybody what's going to work. But there's a very specific way that everyone could benefit without screwing anyone. And I'm going to talk to some people about it and actually try to make us think about it and try to make something happen, because there's a lot of different ways that we could do this and go forward and everyone can be happy. And even if the flippers don't want to give the extra percentage, there's still a way for that to happen too, and everyone to still be happy, because there's numbers you can bounce around and you can play with them, and it doesn't take a whole lot of creativity to figure it out. And to me, knowing what I know about how certain businesses work and seeing how this goes, it almost seems to me like they're doing what tech has done for the last 20 years, which is milk every penny they can out of a new tech until someone comes in and squashes it and it drops to normal prices. We saw it with cell phones. We saw it with televisions, flat screens. We saw everything in the past with technology, even gaming consoles, right? Like when they first come out to versus like a year or two later, it's this thing, right, where like companies or people or whatever, there's an amount of greed that goes into it where they don't care about the long term. They want to make what they can right now. And the people that don't understand like what this technology has to offer long term and what it has to do and where it will be in 100 years or 200 years or 500 years, long after we're all gone, I think that's what people are missing. And to me, like, that's what's going to count, because I recall a time when the internet was being said that it was a joke and a passing fad and it was going to die. And I remember reading these newspaper articles when I was a kid and just laughing so hard at, like, how can these people be so dumb that they don't see how many different ways this is going to blow up? Like, how can they not see that, like, they just need to figure out a way to monetize all this stuff, to sell stuff. And then, Elon came along with PayPal, and some other people came along with different stuff. And then what happened, right? Like, it's just a matter of giving it time to breathe and doing it the right way and understanding the market conditions you're dealing with, because the situation really is there's too many bots and there's too many bad actors for it to actually go where it's supposed to go, because those people, those machines, those things are going to continuously keep it down, and people are going to chase the floor down, and then it's going to kill a collection, blah, blah, over and over and over again. It's like a repeat on cycle for the last 2 years, right? But I've been taking notes. So sorry to go on a rant, but it's just.
No, that's cool. I definitely appreciate your insight. Give us some more info on this blockchain buster that you got. You got your tweet pinned at the top here.
Thank you.
What's that all
Yeah,
about?
so I in an effort to try to garner some attention to OpenSea and to people, I was trying to create something to show how a giant once upon a time crashed and became nothing, all because they were unable to or refused to pivot. Right? They did not want to pivot. They were so sure about their model, and anyone at that time who was in a tech like I was understood and knew where it was going. And it was a sad thing for people like me, because we saw it coming. We saw it coming. It was a mile away. As soon as Netflix hit, and the fact that Blockbuster didn't immediately, or not even Netflix, I'm sorry, Redbox. It was Redbox really first, and then Netflix. When those two things happened and they took so long to respond, it was it for them. They were done. And the fact that they got greedy with their back end of the, please be kind, rewind, and charging people for rewind fees, right? Like, those kinds of things stick out in people's minds. And even when DVDs came back around, people were still salty about having to rush to the store to didn't want to pay an extra $12 or whatever because they didn't rewind the 4 movies they had. So
I remember us the last time we ever went to Blockbuster. We went to go return a movie, or we went to go get a movie, and they were like, "Oh, you haven't returned this movie." And obviously my parents are paying. I'm mad young, but like, they're like, "Yeah, you owe us $230 for one fucking thing." We never went back. We didn't pay it. We didn't pay it, and we never went back to Blockbuster. Like, that's absolutely like a $10 movie takes like 5 seconds to make. It's like $5 to make, like, and you're charging us $230. Like, okay, yeah, we'll be back. Never went
that's
back.
it, man. Well, that's what happened. See, what you just said was literally a pivot, right? So that in that case, Redbox saw that kind of stuff happening, and they said, "Oh, well, what we'll do is we'll just charge them on the short end until they pay off the price of the DVD, and then they can just keep it. We'll stop charging them."
Yeah, I mean, when Redbox first came out, I mean, that was like it. That was like the start of the downfall. Like, you don't have to go, like, you don't have to pay late fees. Like, you have it as long as you want, just return it. And they don't even charge like that much if you like break the
Yeah, it
DVD
was
or
like
something
maybe
like that.
$10 over MSRP, right? Like if you went to the store and paid $20, it was $30 or whatever.
Yeah, and you could just burn it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I used to
uh,
have a collection of movies. I mean, I don't. I'm all digital now, but I used to have a collection of movies, and 90% of them were just burned Redbox
yeah,
DVDs.
man, that's how that was the jam back then, right? Like we didn't all have a bazillion dollars to go buy a bunch of movies, and why should we be punished and not able to have access to these because we don't have a bazillion dollars, but we have the technology? Like, yeah, sure, why not? You weren't hurting anybody, you weren't reselling it or whatever. Like there's things, man, about society and how things go down and the greed that takes place in business and capitalism. Like, I'm not saying that like capitalism's a bad thing, but what I'm saying is when we let money and greed take over, that you run yourself into the ground. It happens over and over and over again. And that was the point of this whole Blockbuster OpenSea joke, was that like they're just not being smart to pivot, you know?
So what do you think, because of this whole zero royalties, which again I am like completely against? What do you think OpenSea is doing wrong?
I think that they're just bending to the curve of what everyone else is doing. Like I mean, maybe I'm
Like, you think they should stick to their guns, and because they released that whole thing a few months ago. It's like, okay, put this in your contract, so you won't be, your NFTs won't be sold on zero fee marketplaces, and now they're kind of pivoting away from that
right.
again.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think it's smart, and I think that they're just trying to bend with the wave, and I don't think it's smart. I think if you want to be a champion, you have to do the right thing, by everybody.
Well, and you got to forge your own path. You can't go the way that everybody else is doing.
Exactly.
What's up, Nine?
Very, very true. With a lot that's been said so far. All right. But we may have to consider that the reinvention of how royalties are made is what's next. Right? They are likely going to find another way to do it. It's been proven time and time again, every time you try to apply old world tactics to Web3, it just doesn't work. Right? If you look at the DeFi space, and royalties exist in the DeFi space in the form of a percentage is split with all the holders. That's likely what's going to happen in the NFT space, where each sale, a percentage gets split between everyone who's holding in that collection. That is a way more fair way, I think, in Web3, Web us, to accomplish royalties than trying to apply the old model to it. So considering that this format is going to get reinvented to work ideally in Web3, should be discussed as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, and it's been like that. It's been like the royalty thing from the beginning, but just because it was first doesn't mean it's the best.
Exactly.
Like we've all said it, and we'll still say it for like years. Like we're still early. Everything's still getting developed. This is just like something that has just come out. People are still learning how to use it, still learning how to manipulate it. There's still rapid scams, and there's still a lot that's unknown about the space. So we're definitely going to see a lot of changes over the next few years. But at the same time, like OpenSea reverting what they had said before, and just trying to, obviously, like last year they had a vice grip hold of everyone's balls. Like, this is where you sell, this is where all the volume is, and now they're losing that, and it seems like they're kind of losing their mind a little bit, because they're like, we had it, and we're starting to lose it. So they're kind of just like doing whatever they can to try and be like, please come back, please come back. What's up, Chompies?
Yeah, I think with OpenSea, I mean, they've had all of the tools, volume, and capability to do a much better job than they have. And what we're seeing is like someone who should be a titan and an example in Web3 and leading the charge. And we're seeing what happens when they're driven by pure greed. Last year, when there was the whole thing with the Bored Apes, where people were just kind of like the issues with the contracts, and they were kind of leaving consumers holding the bag, didn't really care. It wasn't until looks came out that they were starting to see the volume trickle out, and they were like, all right, well, we can shift our rules a little bit. Now that things with Blur are happening, and people had a lot of issues with Blur with not with royalties being optional, but then they dropped the token, and a lot of projects actually saw more money come back to them than they would have gotten in the royalties. And OpenSea is saying, oh, wait, they actually had some logic and some plan for the longevity of the space and Web3 behind their tactics. And it wasn't just, just waiving these fees. And so I think what Drip's saying is absolutely right. They've fallen behind, and I really don't think that in the grand scheme of things, OpenSea has really ever had the best interests of Web3 in mind. And things like royalties are what took down Napster. Um, Napster got taken down by, everybody remembers Metallica, the big court case of Metallica, because they weren't getting royalties. And, you know, I was like younger, so I was bitching because I wanted my free music. But it's true; these are artists who put a lot of hard work into this, and they're not getting credit for their art and their work. And they had the money, they had the capital, they had the exposure to be able to come at them in court and to set these precedents. um, Newer artists and people who are starting the space, and Web3 itself is way too young to have that established root system to be able to kind of combat this. So I see it as something as a Web2 a company in Web3 clothing, kind of wolf in sheep's clothing, who has really taken advantage of the technology, the community, and really taken for granted that they had so much of such a, I guess, a huge hold and control of the space that they just really neglected to even think what was in the best interest of consumers. And really, that's ultimately going to be their downfall, because we see marketplaces popping up all over the place. Different projects are developing them. And while they might be smaller, we're seeing rumblings, and eventually things are going to kind of gravitate together and somebody's going to oust them. And I feel like OpenSea is almost like the Model T for for Web3 marketplaces. This is where we started, but it's certainly not where we're going to end. And yeah, it's just for lack of a better term, they're just, it's a very boomer mindset, and they don't want to move with the times. And they are going, I love the comparison to Blockbuster, because it's exactly like that. Not listening to the people who are investing in it, who have so much money just sitting in their marketplace, is going to be what takes them down. And I mean, I've explored different marketplaces. One thing it's done, it has forced me to explore my other options in Web3, and it has forced me to explore different smaller marketplaces that I have underestimated before and not paid as much attention to, out of no reason other than just sheer laziness. Like, being straight up, just me being lazy and being like, nah, OpenSea is just the easiest. But now that it's like there's, kind of cracks on the surface and showing their colors, it's like, all right, well, if I really support the space, if I really support artists, if I really support projects with meaning, then I have to do my due diligence, and I have to look at what the other tools are available to me, the marketplaces, and make sure that I'm investing and putting my time, effort, and energy into things that are actually building Web3, and not just going for what um, the easiest course of action is, because there are ways to kind of mitigate the royalties thing. They could do everything from, scale them over time, where if if you're just flipping, you pay 100% upfront, but the longer you hold it, you pay less, or other options. But there's a million ways to handle it. It's just a matter of, it comes to a matter to act, do you actually really care about Web3? Do you actually really care about building this ecosystem? And I think OpenSea, time and time again, has shown that they really do not. And it is about the bottom line. And that, if if this space is made of anything, it's about people who think differently and rebels who want something different than what we've had in Web 2. So it's going to be OpenSea's undoing, and we're going to see some much better user tools and marketplaces come out of this, from people who just know better and actually care. So, if they're showing their colors, I'm glad they're doing it now, so I can just like get out while I've only been here like a year and a half or so.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, and we've seen it time and time again. Like, a company comes up, like even like, let's say, internet browsers. Like, everybody back then used Internet Explorer. Now something newer came out, something more advanced, more sleek came out, a better user interface, and now everybody uses Chrome, or a variety. Chrome is the dominant thing. There's obviously a bunch of different ones, but there's always like a single dominant one, and that was what OpenSea was for a while. That's the same with, like, Napster and LimeWire and all that stuff. And now, there's like Spotify, Apple Music, and things like that. So we've definitely seen it time and time again. And the OpenSea has had a stranglehold for a while now, but it's not really made by people who know NFTs. They just made a marketplace to house the NFTs. They don't really know, or they're not in the ecosystem. And the marketplaces, the smaller ones that have been coming up, they're smaller, but they're made by people that actually understand the space, understand what people actually want, and what collectors and project founders actually need. So, and the big thing about it with me is, because we're on Polygon, and a bunch of people I know here are on Polygon, because Ethereum is the main, currency that everybody jumps on first. I mean, it can be switching. I mean, it could be the same thing. Like, you know, Polygon was, I mean, Ethereum was first, but there's a bunch of underdogs. I think Polygon could flip, and we've seen a bunch of brands already on Polygon, and it's gaining more and more traction. It's not just kind of like a cliff note. It's like its own contender in the ring now. So
I mean,
But a
honestly,
big thing,
Polygon could and should flip Ethereum. If
a
you're talking
hundred
about my
percent.
personal opinion, yeah, I don't think any blockchain has gotten it 100% right. But I think as far as sustainability and just viability crossing over from Web 2 to Web 3, absolutely. And I think you're totally right. I think that's it. OpenSea is going to kind of go the same way. There are things that may not have as much attention and as much credit yet because they weren't first and they're not the biggest and heaviest hitter. But like we're seeing with you guys, and we're seeing with a lot of different projects, Polygon's really starting to make moves and showing its colors and consistency. And that's what I do love about Web3 is that kind of dedication and really I guess effort into building the space does not go unnoticed. And it might take a while, but it does pick up, steam. So, um, I mean, good for OpenSea for screwing up so we can to make room for better.
Yeah, exactly. Now we just need like Blur and the other ones. They need to add Polygon because like Blur's only Ethereum. So like I would be, I'm sure a lot of people would be fucking around with Blur and those other little ones if they enabled Polygon. And I'm sure Polygon's not quiet, so it's like I'm assuming they're working on it and going to be implementing Polygon chain on a bunch of the smaller right now marketplaces. But that's like a big reason why the community that I know, because obviously I know more Polygon collections than Ethereum collections, but we're right now we're unable to jump over unless we want to switch chains, and that's kind of leaving our home base of Polygon, and it's tough to switch chains if you're not like a big name, like how Utes switched over to Polygon, and there's some really big projects with really big names behind them, and a lot of volume coming over to Polygon that's just driving it higher and higher. What's up, Nico?
Yeah, I wanted to say that Magic Eden has Polygon. So I guess
Exactly.
that sooner or later we're gonna see also Blur moving into it. I mean, it should.
Well, 100%, yeah, and I think it's just a matter of they start out on Ethereum because that's where, that's like step one for everybody, and then, they move on to more popular chains and stuff like that. So I feel like it's definitely an inevitability that Blur will come out with their own Polygon chain, and I'll definitely be looking into that when it does come out. But for now, a lot of the smaller ones when they come out, unless they're for a specific chain, like Avalanche or whatever other ones. I'm so bad about knowing different chains, but unless it's specific for a chain, a lot of marketplaces, the majority of marketplaces are for only one singular chain. And I think we could even look again about OpenSea is like they've just added so many chains just to try to get so many different projects and so much volume onto their platform. And I don't think it's for monetary gain. They're not thinking, oh, we need to add this because um, a lot of people are using it. They're like, okay, we can get a couple pennies here on this chain if we bring it over. So it's definitely the times are changing. What's up, Nine?
I'm glad that Chompy mentioned that she's now, excited to look into other blockchains. But it would be great if it didn't have to be that way. I understand that artists and collectors are naturally going to go where the volume is, but there have been platforms around for years that are actually catered to Web3. I mean, OpenSea is a classic San Francisco startup. I used to go to hackathons with the founder. He was been, I think me and him were the only one doing blockchain or crypto stuff at every hackathon that we went to. But when you have investors in the classic form, you can't all of a sudden switch over to include a token, for example. Right? I've said for years that artists should not be using any NFT platform that doesn't offer a token. You're likely going to end up getting way more gains from the token than you would from the art that you're selling, even if you only sold one art. Right? So
Well, how
the
does the
artists,
token? How does the blur token work? Like, how do you get it? By selling? You get some tokens if you sell or you buy or any transaction you do. I'm not familiar with it, so if anybody has any info on that, I'm not sure how the blur token works.
I haven't looked into it as of yet. If anybody else knows more about it, please share.
I'm
Nickel?
pretty sure it's going to turn out to be free money now, and then in about 6 months, it's going to be worthless crap.
Well, okay, so how do you get the free money now? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so you have to I'm no expert here, but you have to participate by either bidding, buying, or selling.
Gosh, yeah. So doing transactions on Blur would probably get you some tokens. What's up, Coin?
I just wanted to come up here and say hey to Ryan, Nico, Drip, and throw my my 2 cents in on the if Blur will add Polygon. I say no because who the fuck watch trades on Polygon? Blur is just a money making factory, in my opinion.
So what leads you to that conclusion? And like I said, I don't know much about it, but in your opinion, what you think most of the volume on there is wash trading? Because I saw something
50%,
about that as well.
50% of all the volume on Blur leading up to the token drop was between two people.
So what? Them just selling NFTs back and forth to each other?
Yeah, that's what wash trading is, bro.
Damn, I need to raise the taco volume.
Yeah, you and Nico just take a weekend back and forth. Pump it.
Yeah. All right, people. All right,
I'm down.
We're doing some wash trading this week, people.
Let's go. Let's fucking do
Let's
it.
get 100 ETH volume. Hell yeah. No, but that's kind of fucked up, obviously. Um, I don't know who made it, but it seems like they do have like a good business model. Maybe they're just trying to put a name out there, going about it the wrong way. Um, but I think that a token, if they don't have royalties, but they have a token that keeps its value, that would be a sufficient replacement for royalties. But that all depends on the token. You know what I mean? It's kind of like ApeCoin came out. They gave everybody ApeCoin, and I mean, obviously the whole market has been down, but now it's not worth as much as when they originally got it. It's hard to have a token. I mean, that was a big reason why we didn't put monetary value on our Guac token. What's up, John?
I mean,
But what about looks, and what's the other one? Gas. Those are just two tokens that everybody wanted because they were free, and you sold them, and then
Well,
everybody sold them.
LooksRare was like the first marketplace that had a token, right? Or that I
first
know of.
marketplace,
Yep.
yes.
Yeah. What were you saying?
No,
Chompy?
that's literally what I was gonna say. Looks had its token drop, um, and then Gaslight, because I remember getting those tokens. I was like, yay, free money. But if you didn't sell it, pretty much the first couple days, it's still sitting in my wallet at like worth 0.0000000001 cent.
Yeah, and that's what could happen to the Blur token. It's going to be a frenzy right now. It's a new token. People are going to be FOMOing the shit out of it. Buying it. People that already have it are going to be selling it, and then we don't know. It could come up, but you never know. From the past that we've seen, it hasn't been too good. Um, Especially if there's really no, besides selling it, there's no utility for it. And obviously I don't know if there's a utility for the looks token or the blur token or whatever, but if the only utility is here's $5, it might not be worth $5, and people are like, okay, well, I'm going to get my $5 now. It's just going to keep going down because there's no point of holding it unless you think it's going to go up, which, I mean, isn't that 99% of fucking crypto? But I don't know. It's weird because they probably don't, and I don't know shit, but they probably don't have like a limit. So there could be eventually a billion of them, and then they ain't gonna be worth $1 each. Then I don't know what the fuck worth now, but what we've seen so far, especially with looks rares, is the token eventually does not work. I mean, and I'm like 100% for royalties. If they can if and we're still early, and if they can come up with something where it rewards the artist uh, for the entire life of the art that is being bought and sold, I'm all for it. But right now we haven't seen it, and the solutions, quote unquote, that we've seen so far have not worked. But again, we're early. The space is going to be it's always going to be developed, but it's still being heavily developed, and we're still trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work. And I mean, you gotta you gotta crack a lot of eggs to make an omelet. So we're definitely cracking a lot of eggs in the space, and I'm sure that eventually we'll make a decent omelet. There might be some eggshells in there. There always will be, but you just got to keep developing, and you just got to keep working and trying to find better solutions. And the people that are in the space, like I said before, in the space actually know what holders want and stuff. Those are the people that are gonna have a fucking brilliant idea, and something could come out tomorrow, and with a solution, and it's kind of just like a smack in the face, like, why the fuck didn't we have that all along? But it definitely takes time. What's up, Nico?
I I want some clarification here. I mean, I need to get this right. The way I see this, they don't exactly eliminate the royalties like completely, right? I mean, they still give the choice to the seller to just let's say minimize the royalties to 0.5 or something, but basically the seller still has the choice to leave royalties as they are, right?
Yeah,
If anybody knows.
yeah, you can pay full royalties. You can opt into it, and you can also, and this would be a good note for newer projects, and this is something that we've talked about within our own project since we'll be launching soon, is having contract enforced royalties, because you can write a contract and have royalties enforced directly through the contract. So there is a way for artists and for projects to be able to continue to get the royalties even in a marketplace that does not enforce the royalties. It's just really difficult for already established projects and artists and collections to be able to kind of backtrack, and then they'll have to either migrate or something. In my honest opinion, personally, like um if I were, the head of this big project that's been around for a while now, I'd be like, okay, well, for those that don't pay royalties, then that's going to limit the utility that can be used on the NFT or something, because you have to mitigate it somehow for the project, because like as I mentioned, it's not sustainable. But fortunately, there are ways to enforce royalties on new contracts. And I hope that anybody who's planning on launching anything, whether you're an artist or whether collection, please do your due diligence and really look into what your contract is doing for the longevity of your project and community to make sure you take care of yourself.
100%. What's up, Jeff?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you guys for having me. I unfortunately have to dip out because I have to get ready for this next space that I'm doing with my usual 420 crew. But I really
Well, I
appreciate.
appreciate you. I appreciate you pausing your smoke sesh for us.
Oh
my
hell
dude.
yeah, man! Of course. No, listen. I've been meaning to get up with you for a while, bro. You're a local. I know we're on different chains, but we're in the same fucking ocean, brother. So I definitely need to like link up with you in real life and hang out and chat about some shit. But I just had to show my support because you guys are always Taco Tribe is always super nice to me. You guys are always super kind. You and Dave and Nico, you guys are always like super chill. Berlin, I just met you not that long ago through Rebirth. You guys have always been super chill to me, super nice. So I had to just come in and give love where it's deserved, because if we're gonna grow forward in the future, it has to be with good people. And not everyone can be good all the time, but we can guide people to be good when they're making mistakes, and because we all make mistakes, because we're all humans. So I just really appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to talk and give my piece. I got nothing but love for everybody. Thank you guys.
Thanks so much for coming by, Drip. I really appreciate you, and we'll definitely have to link up IRL soon.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, I'll be I know you work usually on Fridays, but my homie down there, Uncle Matt's usually with me. We go to the smoke club every Friday night, so my girl's always with me, PB Drip. So
Oh, well, I mean, so I work every other Friday, so I could probably definitely do that.
Yeah, man, come down and chill. It's a wicked nice spot. Now that cannabis is legal in our state, it's a really nice spot to chill and have a puff with everybody. And there's a lot of Web3 people that come down and chill. So,
Oh, that's sick. Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely do that. I quit smoking every day a little over a year ago, but every once in a while I indulge.
dude.
The issue with that is sometimes sometimes my throat gets itchy and I throw up.
I shouldn't
Wait,
laugh.
what?
Yes. So I used to smoke every single day for like 12 years straight, and then I quit. And then every time I've like hit something, if I smoke too much, like my uvula in my throat gets
My man said
tingly
uvula.
and I cannot stop gagging. It's fucking horrible. So if that happens, just know if I smoke and then you don't see me again, I fucking dipped out because I'm fucking gagging.
Bro, I'll show you where the
constantly.
bathroom is, and I'll show you the back porch where like there's like an outdoor section. You can go out and like fucking gag all you want. No one will hear you.
Perfect. Perfect. I'm gonna need that. But I appreciate you coming, man. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it, man. I really appreciate you guys again, and I'll be seeing you guys. I'll be hopping in chat, and you'll see me. I'm like a bad smell. I'm never gone. I'm always around.
I always see you on there. Peace, man.
Peace, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that was good. I'm glad we kind of went over the whole Blur OpenSea situation. It seems like it's just an ever-going battle for fucking royalties, fucking some dumbass shit. Somebody was like, I don't want to pay these, and now it's a big fucking uproar. But let's get into the meat and potatoes here, the bangers and mash, if you will. Chompies is here, new collection. We got a lot of people representing them already down there, and we have them here to discuss what they're doing with their project. Berlin is a big advocate as well, but I'm excited for your little tooth. I got a little sweet tooth myself, and I hear you're working on some great things. So tell us about your project.
Yeah, well, actually, so I'm not the founder. I'm Dyla.eth. If you don't know who I am, that's who I am. Alternately, when I'm not a green tooth on Spaces, but our founder, he's actually he had to work his Web2 job and couldn't be here, and I was like, yeah, man, let's do this. But our other founder, also Josh, is down there, and we are a game-based project. We have our game available already, actually for free on your Apple store, your Android store, on your phone, so you can down.
Is that also Josh? I'll bring him up.
Yeah, also Josh down there. I don't know if he's working or like if he's down to talk. He's more than welcome to, obviously.
All right, yeah, no, I didn't mean to interrupt you. So you got a game out
Yeah,
already?
so we have our game out already, and it's available for free. You can download it today and play. It's called Paratoother, and it's a game. I would say that it's a it's a fun little game with the frustration level of, say, like a Flappy Bird, is how I would say.
Wait, is it a side scroller?
It's just like a little jump game. Just tap screen and jump.
Yeah, I played that and I got super frustrated.
Let me tell you, I
So-
like had a marathon of like 3 days because I wanted to get into the top 10 so bad, and I got as high as 12. And I don't know how some of these people have extraordinary scores, but we've been rewarding our top 10 players with NFTs and stuff for quite a while now. Josh have been working on the game for about a year now. So now that we're going to be launching a project, and like I said, the project is gaming based, but we have a philanthropic focus of we are raising funds to provide funds for schooling for a young man named Caden, an artist. His dad is right there in the space. His dad, Nico, with the blue hand, PFP, is right there. And he is an 8-year-old autistic artist who, due to family circumstances, and I'll let him elaborate more on that, they were unable to let him continue going to school. So they had to pull him out of school, and he's not able to get access to socialization and the educational tools that he needs for his educational needs. So one of our biggest goals is raising money so that he can continue to go to school. Caden is a brilliant artist, and his art is being shown all over the world. I believe he was just in Paris as well. And his father works tirelessly and is all over Web3 and in spaces, and has been a huge advocate for him. And I have to be honest, I'm a mother of a 7-year-old boy myself. I could not imagine having to pull my son from school, let alone being so tired, such a tireless advocate for um, for the for the well-being of my son, and having to look forward for him and plan the rest of his life in his care. So it's it's a brilliant cause to have behind an already cool game and project and group of people. So it's kind of like a two-pronged situation. We'll have our own in-game token called Floss. You'll be able to earn the Plagues native token, which is FRG token. We have all kinds of cool stuff going on. We were just going over some art edits yesterday, and it's just a fun, user-friendly, family-friendly kind of game. You can hand it off to your kids or niece and nephew without, anything super weird coming up. I know you guys know what I'm talking about because Web3 is weird. But it's something that you could share with your family, which I also think is a really super important thing to have in Web3, because I think that Web3 should be a complement to your Web2 life and not a deterrent and take you away from it. I think that Chompies is a project that does that really well, where it's something that you can kind of share with the family around you, and let it be something that kind of works for everybody.
Oh, that's really awesome. I've known Nico and Caden have been in basically every space that I've ever been in. He is always on here. I own a couple hand paintings that Caden made, and his story and how much Nico works to get the word out there and share his art and just get money for his son is amazing. And I can't believe, and I don't have a child, but I can't believe the amount of work that he puts in. It's truly inspiring, and I really like that you guys are taking this project and supporting him, because he deserves all the support in the
Yeah,
world.
I mean, we also work towards the we're advocates for the autism acceptance. I myself am on the autistic spectrum. There are a lot of brilliant autistic um artists in the space. Neurodiversity is a huge influence in Web3. And I feel that that's something that deserves to be celebrated as much as humanly possible. So often we see that as something as a detriment, or something we kind of have to talk about in hushed tones or whispered, or, quote unquote, awareness. And I don't see it as something as a disease. We think differently, we function differently, our creativity is different, and in many ways, it's a superpower. I like highlighting the best parts of it. And I think Caden is a brilliant example of that, of how autism, while it makes some things in life very difficult, it also heightens some talents to to amazing to amazing places. And he's 8 years old, and his work is shown all over the world. And here we are, like, we're in the US, we're in Africa, we're all over talking about this 8-year-old's art, because of the way he's gifted with the way his brain works. So that's something that we as a project really want to highlight, and other artists that have the same characteristics and things. And it really is something that should be celebrated, as opposed to talked about, like it's, some kind of like bad thing. So that's also a point in the project that's really important for us.
I'm just reading this, and Nico, thank you so much for pinning the Caden and Nico post above. I was just reading it, and what I love most about this is in the second part of the thread, and it says Caden has a very special ability called autism, because he doesn't let it get him down. He embraces it, and his parents are doing everything and above and beyond they can to make him have a good life and a better life. And it's really amazing to see. And I remember when I first bought one of the hands. I don't even think I wasn't even hosting a space. I was just down in the crowd listening and just hearing his story what they're doing for their child is amazing. I just had to go buy one just to show my support, and he's I don't know how he's got 48 hours in a day, because he is always in the spaces. He never stops spreading the word, and it's amazing to see how much he loves his child. And I hope one day that I can show the same love to my child as well. But I really love what you're doing with the Chompies project, um, and supporting him like that, and all people with autism as well. Um, what made you think of teeth?
Well, you know what? Speaking for the founder, he actually just wanted to do a character that wasn't an animal. Back when they started working on the art, there was a ton of different animal derivatives and things like that. I mean, we're all frogs, or my quote unquote home project is sappy seals, and they just wanted to do something different and not kind of go with what everyone else is doing. So they came up with this cute little tooth character and ran with it. There's been a few different iterations, and they've been tweaking it as it goes. And honestly, like, now I'm kind of in love with this little chomp character. We started the project. It was called NF Teeth, and we changed that a few weeks ago. Actually, my son my son calls teeth chompies, because we always referred to teeth as chompies. Like, it's like, all right, brush your chompies, because he's a little guy. So I would send like the different art to his iPad, the one of ones that also Josh down there. Also, Josh is the artist. And I would send his one of ones to my son, and my son, one day after I didn't send him a few, he's like, where are the chompies? Do you have any new chompies? I'm like, what the heck are you talking about? He's like, the chompies. I'm like, oh, hold on, I gotta make a phone call. Uh, so, um, so I called Josh, the founder, and he's like, "Hold on, we got to he's like, we got to do a call with the team and talk to everybody and work on this." And luckily, everybody like it, and it kind of lends itself easier to the image. Chompy's such a cute little word, and then it gives us kind of like a cute little battle cry. Like frogs have ribbit and seals have arf, and now we have chomp. And chomp is just a fun thing to say, and now I find myself saying it really weird, inappropriate times, which only adds to my own personal entertainment. So and NFT Love is here. He's on the team as well, and I'm gonna let him take it away, because I'm sure he's got plenty of awesome stuff to add.
Yeah, I brought him up. I saw him down there. What's up, NFT Love?
Hey, what's up, fam? Thank you for having me up. I just wanted to say a few things. First of all, um, I've pinned some stuff at the top, or I think at the end it wasn't me. Somebody did it for me. Yeah. So Berlin pinned some stuff at the top. We want to get some taco tribes in our community. So right now we're in the moment of whoever's in the Discord is an OG. And we're gonna open to the public soon. But since we've got the community here, I just want to let you know that whoever retweets, likes and retweets and Berlin's and my tweet, that they're the ones that have the silhouette. So Berlin's and NFT Love's tweet, if you like and retweet, hit me up with a DM and I'll get you in the Discord. Um, we'll let you know what the OG mint is in the future. But yeah, I wanted to say that first of all, and just say, we're happy to be here, and happy to be, talking with the Taco Tribe community. Berlin always talks about you guys, so yeah, it's great to be here. Thank you very much.